Shine your light, shine, shine, shine your light, shine, shine, shine your light.
Hello, hello, it's Nancy Mattox in Little Rock, Arkansas, broadcasting from Charlotte, North Carolina on WYTV7. WYTV7 is a nonprofit. We use our donations and our seed money to go toward broadcasting all of the broadcasters on WYTV7 show internationally. So I'm excited today. I'm so excited to have this beautiful couple of God. One is an actress and one is an actor. They do Christian-based movies as well as other movies. They do Broadway shows, they produce, they act, and everything. So I'm so excited to introduce you today. They're going to share their ministry with us as well as what they believe, and they're going to help. They're going to shine the light out so everyone can catch on to this movement that they're doing. The first one is Jenn Gotzon Chandler. And Jim Chandler, her husband. So both of them are, like I said, they're actresses and actors. They are artists. They are just a delightful and funny couple of God. You're just going to really be entertained today. I'm really excited. They are from New York City. They live in Manhattan. And they were married, they're newlyweds. They were married on March the 17th of 2017. We're going to talk a little bit about their wedding and the production that's coming out of their wedding that probably may already be opened or is getting ready to open. So without further ado, let's get started. Good morning, Jenn and Jim. How are you today?
Thank you for having us.
I love how y'all act, and I love how funny and how so full of God you are. Our God is an awesome God, and He's going to really, He's going to take over our show today for us. I'm really excited about that. The first thing I want to talk about is I want each one of you to give me just a little bit of a story about your calling, how you were called to be an artist, and also how you were called to be a Christian, faith-based artist. Jim, you can start.
Was that Jen or Jim? We always
Jim. Jim.
We always get confused. Some people just call us Jem. Well, I was bitten, as they say, by the acting bug at a very young age, and I grew up in a Christian home, and there wasn't a lot of discussion about calling when I was that small or when I was younger about it. But I knew that the arts was something I wanted to do, so I pursued it through high school and into college, and I didn't really. I always knew it was something that I wanted, that I felt like I was supposed to do, or that I maybe was destined to do. I didn't really appreciate it as a calling until I went through the torment and the torture that I had to go through. That was a portion of my life that was not where I wasn't turning towards God, and only through His grace and me turning back to Him was I able to understand that the gift that He had given me was for Him, and that it was a calling, so that I could use the talents that He gave me in the arts and entertainment field with acting in order to be a blessing to those that I come in contact with. So I try to embody that whenever I'm on a set or wherever I'm at, is just to be that light, not be preachy, but to be that light, and so that other people can understand that that there's something different about me, or that I have something within me that is Jesus. So that is the short answer. I could write a book about it, but that is the short answer.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want our viewers and our audience to hear, because it's just normal people loving Jesus and shining the light. So I'm real excited about that. That is the mantra of Shine Your Light Radio Ministry. I want to allow people to shine their light out into the world to help other people. So we're kind of all on the same page here. And Miss Jenn, how about you?
Well, I was going to say it's a testament to Jim's acting ability, because when we met, he played a bad guy in a movie. I was the good girl, and anyways, we get into Dukes, and so he is such a talented actor that when cameras stopped rolling, you could just see the love of Christ shine through him, which is what fostered the depth of our relationship and our friendship when we first met and dated and all of that. So for me as an actor, I think I know that it was sometime when I was around 15 years old, and it was at a movie theater in my small hometown, like surrounded by cornfields and in Northampton, Pennsylvania. And it was like that theater, you know, where your feet are sticking to the ground because of the popcorn and the soda. It was in that space where I got touched by one of the movies, and the movie was Straight Talk, and it was Dolly Parton's character in that movie that spoke something into my veins, where it almost felt like I got pulsated by this electricity, where I wanted to do that, what I saw her character do to me. And I remember walking out very specifically crying, and went into the bathroom sobbing and saying, God, I want to do that for other people. As an adult now, you know, 10 some years later, 20 years later, I do that same thing when I go to a movie that's that electrifying, like Hidden Figures. I will find myself going into the bathroom after the movie and saying, God, this is the desire of my heart, is to tell these types of stories that touch on the human condition, that make us laugh, entertain us, but also leave a pearl of wisdom inside our soul to say, you know what? I don't want to be like that character. I want to make a better choice, or I want to do the choice that that character made, and insight, like be able to send people direction and path in their life, kind of like a ministry through movies as a media form to connect to the human heart.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. And I love to hear the way you both put that, because it's so important for all of us out here to understand that what your mission is and what you're trying to portray. And that's a beautiful story about a movie taking hold of you, because it does. When you go to a movie, it'll take hold of you, and you're constantly going, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. But I want to talk a little bit about your newest movie. Both of you are in it. It's called My Daddy is in Heaven. It is a story that God gives us hope, as well as out of tragedy comes a new beginning. So I'm going to start with you, Jenn, and let you talk a little bit about My Daddy is in Heaven, what it means to you, how y'all done it, and then also in this movie, Jim is Jenn's love life in the story. So you're going to talk a little bit too, Jim, about that, okay? So
yeah, sure.
That's your new movie.
My Daddy is in Heaven is a movie that's out now. It's in Walmart. It's on Amazon, iTunes, Vudu, Google Play. And the story, Nancy, let me tell you about this story. My Daddy is in Heaven is based on a true story. It's a true story of Rebecca Crownover, and she was so madly in love with her husband. And they had a little 2-year-old, and they were talking about having another baby on 4th of July. And they were celebrating 4th of July, and her little daughter was cold. So the dad went to go get a jacket, and in the way, he was in his AV, and it flipped, and he went unconscious. And for 2 weeks, he was in a coma. And so this movie, My Daddy is in Heaven, is a pathway to discuss where do we go after we die. And how do we deal with our faith when we pray and we ask God to provide the answer we want, and he provides something different. And that's what Rebecca's journey was. And she had to explain to her daughter, where did Daddy go when he died? And she was a woman that I related to so much, because she prayed and she believed that if Jesus could heal people from the dead and raise people, he can surely bring a man out of a coma. She knew that she knew that she knew that. And she took the scriptures, and she believed and breathed that these were truth, which we believe are truth. And when God decided not to bring Adam back, what it did to Rebecca, like it does to a lot of us, it closes her heart. And it closed her heart, and it pushed her away from God, and it forced her into a space of rebellion of the truths that she knew, to say, I just need a new way of life. And that's what turned her to the direction she went to try to medicate her pain. And that's why people a lot of times go to the bars and they drink, they get into a new lifestyle, they try all these things, but in the quiets of the desperation in their soul, they're screaming for healing. And it took a while for Rebecca to find that triumph out of the tragedy. And she did. And so you'll have to watch My Daddy Is in Heaven to understand how she found her way home.
Oh, absolutely, I will. And that is a true story, which is really interesting, which I love that, because, like I said before, we all need to know, we all need to hear real talk, and we need to understand that we're not alone in anything that happens to us. There's always other people that are experiencing the same thing. So, Jim, what about you? Give me a little bit of interpretation about My Daddy's in Heaven from you.
For me, my character, I'm kind of an old family friend who kind of comes into the movie towards the end, and it's when she's ready to begin the healing process, or ready to begin to come back into the family life and to be the responsible woman that she needs to be for her daughter. So that process is beginning for her, and I'm a police officer that helps her get home. And since I am a family friend, I am there to, let her know that I'm interested, or, I ask her to dance, and she rightfully declines and says, I'm not, in a sense, I'm not ready for that now, which is the truth, but just to show that there was a flicker of hope left is what my character did for her, for the character that she played, was just that, it's okay to move forward, and you can do it at your own pace, but just to kind of show that there's hope in the midst of tragedy, as you get through it, that there's always hope that you can grab onto.
Mm-hmm. Well, My Daddy in Heaven is based on a children's book, and talk a little bit about what it's like to adapt that into a film that we see on screen. It's a children's book.
Mm-hmm. So Rebecca Crownover, who is this is her story. Her children's book is from the point of view of helping her daughter understand where did daddy go. So the book's actual title is My Daddy Is in Heaven with Jesus, and the movie adaptation is Rebecca's point of view on dealing with grief. And not only just grief, but real life hardship, real life heartache, and then real life hope. And the movie is a little different than the book, is that it also opens up the heart as you can't judge someone how they grieve. Everyone's going to grieve differently. And the book does not speak on that. The book just is very simplistic for a child, and the movie is very heartfelt for the adult.
That's fantastic. It's just kind of hard to believe that a child's book could be adapted like that. That was a lot of work, and a lot of hard work and concern that would do that, and to make it into such a great movie. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, Rebecca and the Nassers, Joseph Nasser and Wayman Boone, they worked hard together to write that script, and they spent time with Rebecca asking for different nuances, specific life experience, and then they dramatized it. They changed it a little bit to be fun for a movie. So we as an audience are laughing, we're having fun, we're being entertained, but then at the end of the day, it should feel like a bottle of rain on a summer morning.
Wow, love that. Just the words out of y'all's mouth is so dramatic. It just really, really excites me. But the main thing we need to get out of this is that Jesus Christ is our hope. And Jesus Christ will help us through everything, every issue that we have.
Really?
But we have to have an open heart. We have to listen. We have to be still and listen to what God is telling us. And there is hope in everything that happens. So I just love the way that y'all put that. I also tell people all the time that y'all are a funny couple. You're hilarious. I wanted to talk a little bit, too, about your other movies that y'all have been in together. So haven't you been in other movies together, too?
We have. Well, we met on set in 2014 on Sinking Sand, which was the movie Jenn mentioned. We also did one that's now on Amazon, The Colors of Emily, has been released. We did a television pilot together, and then Saving Faith is going to be coming out this year, and it's distributed by Lionsgate.
Saving Faith is a movie?
I'm sorry?
Saving Faith is a movie?
Saving Faith is a movie, yes.
Okay. And what about the television show? Which pilot was that? Do you remember?
Yes, it was a independent television pilot written by Paul DeRose from Sight and Sound Theater in Pennsylvania. He's part of their artistic team, and several other people from that theater came together to create the pilot. We shot it over a weekend, and it turned out really well. But it's one of those things where it's done, it's finished, and now now they got to figure out what they're going to do with it and how it can be distributed. So it isn't something that's been released, although it's extremely funny. We were able to watch it, and it's very well written, and it's a very nice piece of art to have been done in 3 days. That's for sure. And
there's another pilot called Shelter that Pat Denson's family's doing, and they're the last time I heard that they were trying to bring it to Hulu or actually go to Roma Downey's company to see if they would like to properly put the series out. And Alicia Minshew, she plays the main lead in it, and she's fantastic. And then we were also in China for a campaign, and we have, we were in a Broadway, not a Broadway, it was near Broadway.
Off-Broadway.
Off-Broadway show last year together, which was cool. And Jenn actually goes up in a play this coming Friday. So it's been really special. Oh, and we did Bible Phonics Plus, a game to help children learn how to speak and how to read by using the Bible.
Wow.
God has allowed us to work together a lot in the past couple of years. And I think my favorite thing is after a movie is sharing our testimony and then spending time with, the audience and having one-on-ones and however God leads to just inspire hope. So Nancy, being here with you is very special because it's an extension of sharing our heart and hopes that people where they're at, we don't know what they're dealing with, but we'd love to share our story to help them realize that Jesus is the light that can shine in their heart to bring healing.
Absolutely, and I love it. I love it for my audiences. I wanted to share a little bit too. You got married on March 17th, 2017, so you're still newlyweds. I consider that newlyweds.
Yeah.
But, you did a movie or a production or something called The Farmer and the Belle. Now, I saw all this because I follow y'all on Facebook and I watch all your stuff. It really does make me laugh. Your pictures and things like that is fantastic. But tell me about The Farmer and the Belle, what that was. Is it gone into production yet or what?
The Farmer and the Belle is still in development. It's in development / pre-production, but it parallels our own love story. The fact that my family is a Southern family from North Georgia, so my family has roots in farming, and it is about a supermodel who goes to a pig farm in Georgia searching for who she is and her chutzpah and her go-get-emness, and so it's just kind of a hilarious comedy in that regard. And she discovers that the real love comes from having an open heart and being a joyful giver, and basically it comes from Jesus, and that's the message that we're trying to send. So we're developing that. We're actually in the process of raising funds so that we can go into production this fall, and we're communicating with different people we're going to attempt to try and do either a television movie or maybe feature with a theatrical release. We're still kind of ironing those things out. But we wanted to shoot a portion of our movie so that it would kind of be a cool little trivia piece or a little nugget to have at the end of the film where the farmer and the belle actually get married, and it's actually our wedding. So it's kind of a fun little thing so that there's real footage that would be shown at the end of the movie.
Oh, I love that. And I watched a little bit of that following y'all when you got married and the pictures and the little clips and all.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Y'all just had a grand time at your wedding.
We did. Yeah.
That makes it real for everyone. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the neat things about the Farmer and the Belle is that if we have a ministry message from it, is to be able to help girls realize that their value is not based on their beauty. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing extensive research with a bunch of psychologists. We've been grateful for Erin Smalley with Focus on the Family to spend some time where she worked through our script identifying the lie that Belle believes, which is when you're young. It starts out when you're 6 years old, actually. Women believe that if they are not beautiful by culture's definition of beauty, they then believe that they don't have value, and then people won't love them. So that's why we as women end up doing things to beautify ourselves in hopes to be attractive to people so we could be loved. And it's a subconscious thing that Satan has entered this lie in. In our movie, what we desire to do is to destroy that lie and to provide a pathway to help people understand psychologically what their beauty is based on from biblical truths. And you talked earlier about open heart. We have a bracelet that Belle Winters finds. That's why she goes to this farm, is to find this bracelet that her mom gave her that gives her the secret to finding real love. And instead she ends up saving Santaland. And there's 4 charms on this bracelet. And one of those charms is saying, I am magnificent masterpiece, made wonderfully in the image of God. And the second charm is, I have an open heart to receive that Jesus' love is real. How wide, how deep, how high, how long his love. He will never leave me. And then there's 2 more charms as it focuses on the biblical truths of our identity and who God created us to be. So we're focused on the who he made us, honoring and serving him in our worth and our value. And as and as a byproduct, we hope that people through the movie The Farmer and the Belle will be able to find freedom from this horrible lie that women have believed because of media, shopping malls, billboards, magazines. And that's why it's about the hilarious adventures of a paranoid supermodel and the proverbial farmer in the dell.
I love it. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. We're almost out of time, but I have one more question that I wanted to ask Jim. Jim, I noticed here recently, a couple of days ago, that you have a new production that's opening.
Yes.
Is it a Broadway show or what?
No, it's off Broadway. It's in a small theater at the Sheen Center, which is actually a center for arts and culture that's funded by the Catholic Church. So they have different productions that they put on there. They allow different theater companies to come in and use their space to put on productions. And the production is called The Rainmaker. It's a classic American piece from the 1950s. There was a movie that came out in the early 60s with Burt Lancaster and Katharine Hepburn. And this is the classic folk, I guess not folk, but it's a Midwestern story about people learning about who they are and what they're capable of and where their beauty is. And that's kind of interesting because that's what the lead female character kind of goes through that. She needs to, in order for herself to believe that she's beautiful, she has to believe it herself, and not just worry about whether other people call her beautiful or not.
And when is the Rainmaker opening?
Okay, it opens this Friday on the 27th of April, and it closes May 20th. And we're doing 16 shows. And so if you're in the New York area and you want to come watch, please do. You go to
I wish I could.
Yeah, sheencenter.org. It's SHEENCENTER.org.
Thank you for sharing that, because our viewers will definitely want to let people. I want to let people know about that, so that can be a.
Well, then we want to give them information about The Farmer and the Belle as well. Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, they could go to ChristmasComedyMovie.com, ChristmasComedyMovie.com, and they could also go to The Farmer and the Belle Christmas Comedy Movie on Facebook, but ChristmasComedyMovie.com will give them a view on how they could get involved if they believe this is a message that they would like their girls to have better, stronger, healthier self-esteem, self-image based on biblical truths on Christ. Have them reach out to ChristmasComedyMovie.com, and we would love so much to get them involved however we can, even from production, if they want to invest in this movement, if they want to help participate in the bracelet to get out to girls. There's a lot that they could participate in, and we need a community.
Okay, well, I will definitely do that. I have a pretty large social media following on all of the social media, so I will start promoting that too. I thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. It's very kind.
This is the kind of stuff that I wanted to get out in the interview, is, you know, where you've been from and where you're going to, and that you're so real world real talk, and you have real ministries that you're doing that are going to be so helpful. So we are out of time. I just wanted to thank you again for everything that you've done. Thank you for being on my show. It's going to really give my show a boost, and I love you both, and I thank you so much. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Have a great morning.
It is early.
Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine.